All right, so we're still recording?
Oh yeah, we're still recording.
All right, Joe Biden will not be the Democratic nominee. Changed my mind.
Change your mind. Well, okay, so if you guys aren't watching this right after you watched our Franklin Pierce episode, shame on you, but whatever. As we saw with Buchanan, sometimes going into hiding helps, and it's definitely helping Biden, except that he can't stay in the basement. He's pulling a Chris Cuomo. He's sneaking out of the basement every once in a while and poking his head out there and saying something that he shouldn't say. If he would just stay hidden, I think there's a real good chance that he'll be the nominee. That being said, I'm going to try to change your mind. At this point, every candidate that the Democrats have pulled up that where they've said, we could plug this person in instead of Biden, whether it's Andrew Cuomo, whether it's Andrew Cuomo, whoever it is, all they can do is set their hair on fire and have a crowd go around and watch it burn because they cannot string together either they can't string together coherent sentences or they're so engrossed in having their own little kingdom, their own little fiefdom that they are shooting themselves in the foot. They cannot get out of the gate to make enough headway to where they can say, okay, this will be a good person for us to plug in. Because literally a month ago, all the talk was Andrew Cuomo is going to sweep in. He's going to take the nomination away from Biden, and then they're going to have Andrew Cuomo on the ticket. The problem is now what the mindset is. What everything I'm hearing is that Biden is definitely going to be the nominee. Definitely going to be the nominee, but he's going to nominate somebody for vice president that is somebody that people will be comfortable voting for, knowing that Biden will basically resign the presidency within months of him taking office. So if you have that mindset, why would you not have Joe Biden as your nominee? He's got name recognition. He's got, the other reason I think they're going to let Biden stay in as the nominee is that it's his turn. And I think that there's enough of the American people that are revolting against this house arrest situation that the Democrats are seeing there's just no possible way that they could win.
There you go.
And so why not have Biden in there?
There you go. Now you convinced me. So if the Democrats think they're going to lose, which I think they do, and why not just throw Biden out there? But the only thing I don't understand is why would they embarrass themselves like they are?
Yes.
With this clown.
Yes.
I mean, are you really saving Cuomo? Are you really saving? Well, you might be saving Michelle Obama or someone like that, but if you think you're going to get trounced, yes, you convinced me. Biden is there, but but the embarrassment factor.
Yes.
These guys, I mean, there's still a segment of the party that thinks they can win.
Yeah.
So why not throw a Cuomo in there and just say, all right, just go and put him in there at the last second where you don't have time to vet him, which, by the way, I'm pretty sure Trump will be ready if that's the case.
Yeah, no matter who it is, Trump is a workaholic. He is, and this is not whether you like Trump or not. There are certain things that you have to know about Trump. He's a hard worker. He is somebody who does not underestimate people in any circumstances, and he's somebody who will not back off from attacking somebody, no matter the circumstances. So no matter who you put in there, Trump in a debate is going to have his teeth out and is going to be pulling both guns and just blazing whoever it is. So I don't think that trying to surprise him is going to work at all because you can't announce, hey, we're going to have a presidential debate next Tuesday and it's going to be Biden versus Trump. And then Tuesday morning say, oh, by the way, no, it's going to be, it's going to be Cuomo or whoever.
Okay.
The world doesn't work that way.
No.
But what do you think about the mindset? Because I was thinking about this earlier this week of we want to put Biden out there, and we know he's going to be bad, but he's going to be so bad that whoever we nominate the next time is going to look tremendous by comparison. Or do you think the embarrassment factor overrides that?
I think I just don't. It's just something's not sitting right with me, and I just can't figure out what it is. The fact that this is the best they can come up with.
Yeah.
Is this guy that's older than Trump, by the way, who is the oldest president ever.
Yeah.
Okay. And this guy can't form a sentence. He doesn't even know what he's running for. He's got so many allegations about sniffing women's hair and young kids' hair that then you can shake a stick at. There's no way he can debate.
No, and then they've got this.
There's no way. Maybe 30 years ago, but
yeah.
I'm not saying he wasn't brilliant at some time. I mean, I don't agree with him politically, but in order to debate, he probably could. But right now, there's no way he would. I mean, and then you look at like what do you think about this California sweep, that the special election?
No, so the California thing.
That seems kind of like a big red wave coming. That's not normal.
That's what I was going to say. If I was in the DNC, if I was one of the upper folks in the DNC, excuse me, and I saw that happen in California, I would be freaking out because what it says to me is, first off, this is California. This is our property. We're supposed to own this, and the fact that we can't get our party elected in that state, to me, tells you, first off, whatever Trump's doing is working, if you want to say it's a coattail thing, or people are revolting against the Democrat governors overreaching in power.
Yes.
And I think it's more of the latter because Trump let's be fair, he's handled this coronavirus thing as well as could be expected. But it's still a shit show. I mean, the whole country's in the crapper right now. I think it'll bounce back, but I think that takes away from the riding Trump's coattails situation of it. So I think it's almost, I'd say 85% a backlash to what the Democrat governors are doing.
I mean, let's all you got to do is look at the past. I mean, everything they said Trump, they did try to trap Trump on.
Mm-hmm.
They failed.
Yep.
You know, even from the nomination in 2016, he can't win that. He can't win the presidency, and he did Russia and impeachment. Everything they throw at him has failed. What's this? Now the coronavirus comes in. His approval ratings, if stay level or gone higher.
Yes.
They nominate this clown who can't form a sentence to run against him. Like
Biden is literally saying in his speeches, we're trying to reelect Trump. I mean, that's not what he's meaning to say, but that's what he's saying.
Right. And what is it from the past that's going to say, okay, Trump's going to lose now? When has he lost?
Right.
When has he lost? When has anything they've done worked? And it hasn't. And I think you're right about I thought about this more today and yesterday about the governors. And every state you look at, that's a lockdown. And I'll get into freaking Governor Cooper in a minute, you piece of shit. Okay? Yeah. And all these other Democrats from Newsom to Insbee to Tom Wolf in Pennsylvania, all you pieces of shit. Like, every one of these lockdowns are from Democrat governors. Every one of them. Now, people want to work.
Maryland's governor's a Republican, but he's a liberal Republican.
Yeah, but that's Maryland. I mean, Maryland's going to vote for Satan over Jesus if Satan was a Democrat.
Exactly.
But most of them, 98% of them, are all Democrat states. They don't want the economy to open, and there's plenty of people that are seeing this, and they just want to frickin' work. They don't care about. Most people don't care about what we care about. You know, I understand that. about politics.
Right.
Just I want to work. And
Yeah.
if they keep seeing these people saying, no, you can't work, you got to wear a mask and do it. Governor Cooper here in North Carolina, we're supposed to open phase 2, which is Friday, and he revised it today at 5 o'clock.
Really?
Okay, saying, well, yeah, we're going to phase 2, but we're going to open at 50% capacity, and we're not going to open bars, but we're going to open restaurants. What's the difference?
Right.
You're gonna go to a restaurant with 2 or 3 people. You're gonna have a drink, but you can't go to the bar next door and have a drink. It's the same freaking place. And there's playgrounds are closed, but swimming pools are open. And he enlarged phase 2 into 5 more weeks to the end of June.
Oh my God.
And it's just it was supposed to be this, and he keeps going out and out because he's a politician. He's trying to go down the party line instead of doing what's right.
Yeah.
And Tom Wolf in Pennsylvania is doing the same thing. And Insbee is probably the worst of them all up in Washington. And Gavin Newsom, who's going to run for president 2024?
Oh,
I guarantee
yeah.
that right now.
Yeah, without a doubt. And we'll probably get the nomination. If
Yeah,
Obama jump in.
Will, because now they're going to bring some. Yeah, think about it. Oh, we got some. They brought in Obama, who is young, charismatic, and new and refreshing. And then all of a sudden they bring in Hillary.
Yeah.
Who's been there forever and is old. And then they bring in Biden, who's been a senator since before you and I were born. Well, maybe I was born. But in the early 70s, he's been there. Like, take what works. I'm not trying to tell him what to do, but take what works. And even Jimmy Carter, you want to go back to Jimmy Carter, he was a fresh face. Whether you agree with him or not, he was a fresh face and he was honest.
Yep.
Okay? And they put him in there and he won.
Yeah.
Same thing with Obama. Fresh-faced, honest, but charismatic, whatever. You can't just keep bringing in these retreads.
Right.
There's no way Biden can win, to go back to our original point. No way. And I think the coronavirus is even helping Trump. And I think if they get to the debates, it's going to help Trump. Unless there's a sharp dip in the economy where it goes down to the 3,000s, which could happen. But I just don't see it. I just don't see how anybody can win other than him.
No, that is the Democrats' only hope right now. We've got to do 2 things. We've got to keep the economy as shut down as possible, and that's why Pelosi's trying to pass this $3 trillion aid package. That's not really an aid package because they're trying to. If you look at what they're doing right now, it lines up almost exactly with the new Green Deal or Green New Deal or whatever you want to call it. They're trying to get normalize the mindset of everybody gets money from the government all the time, which is, the guaranteed income, which of course would bankrupt the country in months. And so what they're trying to do is they're trying to not only normalize that stuff, but then they're trying to also keep the economy tamped down because they realize that if Trump gets 3 or 4 months of a normal economy, we'll be right back to the boom that we just came out of. The American people are not so beat down that they can't go right back into what they were doing.
Right. This is why the Democrat governors don't want the economy to open.
Right.
Because it's an election year.
Right. So
this was 2021. We would have been back to normal 2 months ago.
I think that the other mindset is if we keep everything shut down, I think that they're thinking we don't have to have presidential debates.
Right. Oh, yeah, they're definitely thinking that. They don't want that. They don't want that. There's no way. God.
The problem with that is you've got 2 people on stage 15 feet apart and a moderator 20 feet away from them, and you don't have to have an audience. How do you justify we're not going to have a presidential debate under those circumstances?
You should be able to.
Right.
But he just can't debate. I mean, as much as Hillary was hated, At least she could debate, but
She could hold her own.
she could hold her own. She knew what was going on, but there's no way. And you had to have somebody propping him up and moving his arms and moving his mouth to say shit. I mean, it's. I would love to see it though. I mean, I think it'd be great television. And then the first debate would be like, even CNN would be like, yeah, it's over.
Yeah, it's not. Here's the other thing I'm looking at, because the NCAA just, I think today or yesterday, announced that they're going to open up the campuses on June 1st or July 1st for students to come in, which opens up sports. Now, here's the thing: the NCAA, the colleges would not do that without essentially the permission of the governors. So I think what they're doing is they're actually weighing their long term versus short term. I think they're seeing now that what they're doing right now is not going to work. So now they're going to try to make it so that, okay, everything's all hunky dory again. And hope that we forget that they did all this crap.
Oh yeah, they might do that too. Give them like 2 or 3 months to forget before election day. Yeah. Which is not going to work either. There's nothing they can do that works. I mean, there's no reason, none, to shut anything down.
No.
Zero.
I was just reading an article today. I
don't care what anybody says. It's irrational.
The CDC is now saying that this virus is not really communicable through surfaces. So that was one of the main things that people are freaking out over was, you put your hand on a countertop and then somebody comes behind you or on a door and somebody comes behind you and they touch that same door, that virus is going to be communicated from you to them. Well, the CDC is saying, no, this isn't that kind of virus. It's not, that won't work.
Right.
So, and more of this information is coming out and people are trying to cherry pick their information to suit what their mindset already is, instead of just accepting that we don't really know that much about this virus, other than the fact that it's a coronavirus, which the common cold is a coronavirus.
Right.
We know that much about it, but they don't know details about it enough to formulate a good plan. So the mindset should be new information is just that, it's new information. If it doesn't agree with what you thought, I'm sorry, it's new information. Read this and take it at its word. But people don't want to do that. People are very delineated between the people who want to freak out and panic and shut their entire life down, which, by the way, are usually people who either are getting unemployment or they're in jobs where they're able to work from home completely. So they're not really seeing a change of lifestyle at all, versus the people who are like, this isn't bad. It's bad because anytime anybody dies, it's bad. But it's not bad like they predicted it. Let's get back to work. Let's get back to normal. And the two groups can't coexist, unfortunately.
Right. What do you think about this? People talking about the second wave?
Here's the thing. Again, it's a coronavirus. A coronavirus is a cold virus, like the common cold. This is a particularly nasty one, and the coronaviruses never go away. Of course, there's going to be a second wave. There's always a second wave with the coronavirus. But I think that if they try to shut things down with the second wave, you're going to literally have armed conflict. I think we're going to come close to another civil war if you have that, because people will not put up with it again. I think that the Democrats have overplayed their hand, and they have made it so that the people who are awake, who are actually paying attention, are starting to actually educate and make headway with the people who aren't paying attention. So that if they try this crap again, unless they literally buy people off, which is what they're trying to do now, it won't work. But I think you will see a second wave. I don't think it will be. And it's not like you're going to see a second wave and you're going to have millions of people dying in the streets. You're going to have a second wave and they're going to try to make a big deal out of it, and it's not going to be a big deal.
Right. We build immune systems.
Right.
Again. They keep talking about the second wave of the Spanish flu of 1918, but they forget that a lot of that was because of the movement of troops from country to country during World War One
Yep.
that caused all that. Like it was a constant. We're in the middle of war, so
Yeah.
we have people going from all over the place, and it's just that's not the case right now. Um, I think it's not an election year. It's not even going to be a midterm next year. So
No.
I think people are not going to make a big deal about it. And it's going to be the same thing. I think next year we're going to be like, look, this many people died of coronavirus, same as 2020.
So
Why are we
so
shutting why are we shutting down now?
so let me run this thought by you. There what time period are they talking about the second wave hitting? What, September? Right?
Well, I don't know when they talk about it.
They,
I'm honest with you
every,
because I don't personally believe it's coming.
no, but
I think
everything
that's
I hear,
we're very strong when it comes to our immune system, but
right?
we can't control the power of the media and their fear tactics to
Yes.
manipulate the weak-minded.
Right. So I'm not talking about when it's actually going to hit or whether it's going to hit. I'm saying when they're talking about, everything I hear says September or early part of October, which puts it a month before
The
the
elect,
election.
right?
So this is just my prediction. This is pure political speculation based on 40 years of observing this crap. What they're going to do is around September, they're going to talk about a second wave is going to hit, and they're going to demand that President Trump shuts things down preemptively. And if he does, the economy will tank and they win. If he doesn't, they're going to paint him as a guy who doesn't care about people dying, and that in their mind they're going to win. Now, I don't think that, first off, I don't think, I'm like you, I don't think the second wave's going to hit. But then secondly, I don't think either one of those tactics are going to work out for them very well. But
No, unless
but I
unless
think
Trump
that's their
agrees
I
with
think
it.
their I think that's their mindset. I think the only way that could work is if Trump agrees with them and says, okay, we're going to shut everything down.
Right. Which I don't think he'll do. I mean, you think about September, football starting, people are finally over it.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know how big of a scare they can make this second wave, and oh, look at this grandma dying or whatever. It's just the power of propaganda for weak-minded people is just so powerful, and
Hmm.
they play it to a T. And you're right, it's going to be right before the election. Now, what's going to happen in December?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Right.
You know, that's the whole thing is people are God, I hate to use this term. People are gullible. And when I say people, I don't mean individuals. Individuals aren't gullible, but people in large groups are very gullible. And the media has used that to their advantage for decades and decades and decades. They know that if they say something often enough, and if you go from MSNBC to CNN to whatever, you're going to hear the same, not only the same stories, but the same phrases over and over and over again. And that's them trying to beat a mantra into you because they know if they do that, it becomes the dominant thought in the public. And if they can get enough people thinking that something terrible is about to happen, that they can get public opinion on their side. And that's a powerful tool. So I don't think anything's going to happen, but that doesn't mean that they aren't going to try to make something happen. Just like every time a Republican's in office, the first words out of their mouth is "Here comes a recession,"
Right.
and they literally talk down the economy to the point where, yeah, there's a recession because you idiots have been talking down the economy for the last 36 months.
Right. They even said that the day Trump got elected and he wasn't even president. They were like the next day, "Oh, look at the markets tank," and then
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it goes back up again.
Well, and that's the whole thing. They always choose. There's a window. If you watch stocks on a daily basis, there's a window between 9:30 and lunchtime where it goes down. It's called profit taking. People sell off from the day before, and it's because the day before the stocks went up they're taking in a profit, and then they start rebuying, so the stock market starts ticking back up. Then right at the end of the day, it dips down again because again, people take profits right at the end of the day. It's a natural business cycle, and there's nothing wrong with it. But if you have a mindset where you're going to present propaganda to try to sway the public toward one way of thinking or another, you can pick that window and you can point it out every single day, and it looks terrible.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. It's all in the bias of the media.
Yeah.
And it will never end, though. That's the thing. It's like, yeah, in some ways, it's great when a Democrat's president because you don't have to hear about it all the time.
No.
You don't have to fight against it. Yeah, we're at the, you're being a little lenient on this person, but you don't have this anger all the time.
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly what it is it's just anger. It's just and it's righteous anger. It's not, you can be angry and be productive. Anger isn't always a bad thing, but
No.
it's not good for you to be angry all the time. And unfortunately, even if you aren't susceptible to media manipulation, you still get pissed off about it because you see the people around you that are susceptible. I was in a stupid Facebook thread where I pointed out that this Obamagate stuff, where the Obama administration was using the FISA court to literally try to sway an election. Which, okay, if let's go back a little bit in political scandal history. The big one that people always think about is Watergate. That was Richard Nixon having two people break into an office to steal two files. Okay, two files. Hillary Clinton had somewhere around 10,000 files.
I think it's 6,000 emails or something
Right.
like that.
She had 30,000 emails, but she literally had FBI files of her political opponent in her bedroom in the closet. They found them, but nothing was said about it because the media doesn't want anything to be said about it.
Right.
You go to the Obama administration, where in conjunction with the Clinton administration, they used the FISA court to spy on their political adversaries. Not only that, but then they used the media to manipulate the stories to look like what they were actually doing. Their adversary was the one doing that. Here's the problem. When I pointed out the details of Obamagate, some idiot in the thread said, "Well, where's your sources?" First off, fuck your sources. Okay? I don't have to give you my sources. Look it up yourself. If I
Right.
can find out this information, it's out there. Look it up. But I'm a nice guy. So I posted a story from the New York Post about it. That was the first story I ran across that was concise and made sense. That wasn't some guy just writing a blog. Not that there's anything wrong with writing a blog about stuff. He said, "Oh, New York Post, that's a real biased source. Why don't you give me a real source?" First off, since when is the New York Post a biased source?
Right.
But then second,
This is the same guy that will take a source from CNN and run with
right.
it.
So what I told him, I said, I'm not giving you another source. Just trust me that this is out there. I said, you need to do your own research, but remember that at least half of this scandal involves the media manipulating stories. And the media is not going to come out and say, "Oh yeah, by the way, we were manipulating stories back then." So you have to find sources that weren't involved in that. So you're going to have to dig deeper than just going to CNN or MSNBC or
Right.
something
Because
like
they'll
that.
protect themselves. Right.
Of course they will. So that's part of the problem is when you try to prove this to peons out there, they don't the sources they want to hear say what you're saying are not ever going to say that because they're part of the problem.
Right.
You
The
know,
media is always part of the problem. That's why
right,
it doesn't matter like Trump or it doesn't matter who Republican is. They're just going to get the same stuff.
right,
It's never going to end.
right. And I'm not just busting the chops of the liberal media, although it's much more prevalent with the liberal media because there's just so much more of them. But if you had Fox News that for whatever reason manipulated a story to make Trump look great, you're never going to see Fox News come behind themselves and say, "Oh, by the way, we manipulated this story."
Right. Right.
And if your only source that you trusted was Fox News, then nobody could ever prove to you that what you're saying happened because you're never going to be able to find a Fox News source for that. So
Right.
when you're out there, when we tell folks do your own research, when we tell folks don't necessarily trust us, think for yourself. What we're saying is actually into stuff and actually learn. Don't just say, "Well, this is the place I always go for my information. I'm just going to trust them." If you do that, you're not thinking. You might as well not even have a brain.
Right.
Somebody else is thinking for you.
Right. Exactly. They're thinking right for you. You know, try to get both sides of why does this side think this and this side thinks this.
Right.
Understand it, and then come to your own conclusion because you have a brain. You're an individual as well. Like you
Yeah.
said, if you do the same thing, you're just having someone else think for you,
Yeah.
and that's the problem.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
but back to my original thing is I just have a sneaky feeling that Biden's not going to run. That's going to be somebody else at the end.
So you don't actually think he's going to run? See, my mindset is he's going to run. He's just going to if he by some miracle wins, he's going to resign within a month or two.
Yeah,
And he just might
I
help.
think they're gonna boot him at the convention.
See,
I
the
mean,
problem.
I haven't seen people talk about a Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama ticket.
Really?
Not that that's. I mean, I don't think that's gonna happen. But
No, no, that would never happen. But really,
I mean,
um,
if that's the case, why don't Joe Biden pick Barack Obama?
I've actually heard that from somebody.
Yeah.
I've actually heard somebody postulated that.
Or that, you know, at the convention they're just gonna. Well, Joe can't do it. He's got issues, so we're gonna pick Cuomo, or we're gonna pick Michelle Obama, we're gonna pick whoever, Amy Klobuchar, or whoever.
Right. I will tell you that if the one thing that worries me is if Biden, let's say Biden picked Barack Obama as his running mate, right? He might win. He might win just based on the popularity of Obama. And I'm not saying he would, but it would be a much tighter election in that case.
No, it'd be a much tighter election than him picking. I hope he picks Stacey Abrams, to be honest with you.
Stacey Abrams would be a monumental failure. What's the lady, the governor of Michigan?
Whitmer. Yeah,
Whitmer, yeah.
she might be worse than Insbee.
Oh yeah. No, I think.
No, you're right. I think Whitmer's bad. She's the one that tried to make it illegal to buy seeds.
Yes. Yeah.
So you couldn't plant. Oh, okay. But the thing is these people of Michigan are going to vote for her again, and the
Yeah.
people of North Carolina are going to vote for Cooper again. It's just.
Oh, I hope not. I hope my brethren down in North Carolina are smarter than that. But
I just never understood. Like, how is Maryland a lock for voting Democrat, no matter what, but they have a Republican governor?
yeah.
How is Massachusetts? So Massachusetts is like that a lot. They always vote Democrat, but they occasionally have a Republican governor. How
Yeah.
does I just don't understand how the difference goes. I think Tennessee has a Democrat governor, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it all goes back to with the liberal states electing Republican governors. I think it goes back to the fact that these governors, whether they're Republican or Democrat, are still at the end of the day liberals. You won't see Massachusetts elect an actual conservative. They'll elect somebody like Mitt Romney, who's a big government Republican, who's got a profit there.
Ronald Reagan, governor of California.
Well, but that was when California back then was, I don't want to say they were conservative, but the liberal part of it was very marginalized. It was very much just Southern California, and the rest of the 75% of the state was pretty conservative.
Right.
Now it's, I think, probably 20% is conservative and 80% is liberal, and it's spread out through the whole state. So you can't, except for what we saw recently, you can't really, as a Republican, get elected in because they congregated, they spread these folks out, just like we were talking about the border ruffians. These border ruffians said, well, we can't have a Republican elected here, so we're just going to move over there and take over.
Right.
And have it how we want it. So.
Right. Which is what they're doing to Texas soon.
Texas they'll shoot you in Texas if you try that crap.
Yeah, I think I think they're trying to get, Austin is very blue, and I
Yeah,
think all these people are, they're moving from these high tax states to go to no tax states, and they're bringing all their political bullshit with them, and which is going to create the same taxes that they left.
that's the problem is that I don't, I've always loved the fact that in this country, if you don't agree with the policies of one area, you can move to another area and get some reprieve from what you're fleeing. The problem is people don't learn what they're fleeing from, and
Right.
they elect the same crappy people. That's why
Same.
you end up with people like you end up with places like Cary and Chapel Hill. You
Right.
know, I mean, it's ridiculous. The mindset of, well, we're going to do it better here. We want to do the liberal things, but those people are out of control over there. We're going to come over here and we're gonna do it better.
Yeah, we just got to put the right people in there, then it'll be fine.
You're right. No,
No, no, it's not how it works.
that's absolutely not how it works.
So that's just my thought. I just have a feeling they're going to run somebody else. So
You might be right. I think I literally think at this point it's a coin flip. The only thing that really sways me is that how would you have time? Well, I was going to say how would you have time to really build up a candidacy? But here's the thing: the DNC has always been a political machine. They've always got contingency plans, so they've got somebody waiting in the wings if something happens. We don't have to worry about that, and they're not going to. They would actually use the "we don't have time" to their advantage. If you sprang a Michelle Obama on them, well, okay, she's got name recognition. Everybody knows who she is, and there's not enough time to dig up the stuff that you need to dig up on her to show everybody what a crap fest a
right.
Michelle Obama presidency would be.
But how are they going to get Michelle Obama prepped for a debate? There's no way she can debate Donald
No,
Trump on anything.
that's the whole thing. But that's their out. Is when she goes to the debate and she loses. Well, of course she lost. She didn't have time to prep. She
Yeah,
was
so let's
thrown.
vote for her.
She was thrown into this. She didn't ask for this. She was just thrown into it.
Right.
Poor, pitiful her.
Yeah.
Let's vote for her because we feel bad.
Yeah. Well, we feel bad for throwing her in a debate, so let's throw her into the highest office in the world. It should
Exactly.
work out just the same.
Yeah.
So,
Just
anyways, I gotta get going. I'm getting tired.
okay, buddy.
You ready for G Dub next week? You gonna be ready?
I'm ready for G Dub, man. I'm so pissed at him. I started off such a fan of his. I mean, I don't know if you had the sounding board going on at that point, and we were writing all these stories about how great G Dub was, or I was, and you were writing the sports stories. And then all of a sudden, the last 2 years of his presidency just tanked.
Yep. He became a liberal, which is probably who he really was.
Well, that's the whole thing is you can only fool people for so long. So
Right. So.
Oh, anyway.
All right.
Okay. Well,
Good
thanks,
job,
guys.
man.
Yeah, man. Thanks, guys, for joining us. We hope you enjoy us just going back and forth and shooting the shit a little bit. Be sure to like and subscribe and give us a 5-star rating. Tell us that we're okie dokie. And we'll catch you guys next time on what do we call this? The after party?
The after party, yeah. Red Pill History After Dark.
Put the kids to bed. Okay. Thanks, guys. We'll catch you guys later.
See ya.
Okay, man. Oh, what'd you do?
The thing moved. I'm good.